Jitters out. All right, what's going on, everyone? My name is French, of course, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe for more of my content. Not sure if I'm really supposed to say that or not, but I see other YouTubers say it, and I figure that's what you're supposed to do at the beginning of the video. So please, if you would, it'll help me out a lot if you like and subscribe, and I'll keep bringing you guys some of my content. So background on me. I just recently retired a few years ago. I was an Army vet, or I am an Army vet. And about 3 years ago, I was in a car accident and I had my right leg crushed. And I ended up with a plate in my forehead. And throughout that time of recovery, I had a lot of muscle atrophy. And I lost a lot of confidence in my fitness and my ability to maintain my athleticism and to maintain my fitness, as I was scared I would re-injure my right leg. Um, and frankly, I just didn't think it would hold up. So I let myself slip and got out of shape and got a little pudgy around the midsection and developed a little love handles in the back. And then just recently, about probably 3 months ago, my daughter made a joke and told me I was getting fat. And she said, "Dad, once you retired out of the Army, you gained about 70 pounds," which 70 is a bit of an exaggeration, but I did happen to put on some weight. Um, and then after that, I had a redefining moment for myself walking past the mirror naked. And I said, you know what, we're going to change some things. And not to mention, my special time with the ladies was a little bit hampered. I was out of breath and being a hot and sweaty POS. But so I decided to make the change, and what I did was I built out a 12-week program for myself. Um, one, to lose body fat, and two, and to transform or recomp my body type. So what is my 12-week program? So I laid it out into three different phases. The first phase is the foundation building and volume. So that will include weeks 1 through 4, where I have a set range of about 3 to 4 on my major compound lifts, and then 3 sets on my accessory lifts. On the compound lifts, I'm looking at a rep range of 6 to 8 in most cases. And then on my accessory list, most of it is 10 to 12 or 8 to 12 or what have you. And then on the days where I'm doing upper body, I am doing a conditioning routine, which includes running, rowing, and some walking or slash jogging. And then on my lower body days, I'm incorporating some core exercises. So that's phase one, which is just ending now, as I'm currently at the end of week 4, which is why I'm recording this video, obviously. I'll insert some before and after photos from before I started to my week 4 progress photos somewhere in the video. I'll also insert some of my videos, some of my workouts, and some footage of some of my workouts. And we'll discuss some of, well, not some of, but my Monday through Friday routine as far as what's included in my workouts, what days I'm doing cardio, and what cardio I'm doing on those days. But first, I want to talk about my lessons learned, some of my struggles, and things that I've come to understand along the way, and even some of my wins. Um, my struggles. I think my first struggle was building the confidence, one, of getting back into the gym and being a lot smaller than what I was prior to the accident. I think that was one of my biggest struggle, was just the confidence of getting back into the gym and lifting weights and stuff like that. And I think my next struggle was, one, the confidence to film it. Actually, that was one of my biggest struggles initially. It's just the confidence of filming in a crowded gym or filming around people in a gym, because you get a lot of awkward stares and a lot of weird looks sometimes, which kind of can be discouraging. So for my first couple of days, I did record, or I would put my camera up mid recording because I didn't like the attention that I was getting from recording myself working out. But obviously, I've gotten over that, and I've actually become accustomed to recording myself in the gym, and I kind of like the whole process of recording myself, looking at my form, and then editing the videos and the footage has become quite a hobby to me. Um, what other struggles have I come across? One is making sure I hit my macros, so making sure I'm getting the right amount of protein, the right amount of carbs, and the right amount of fat, and not overstepping my caloric intake, and ensuring that I stay in a deficit of 200 to 500. Um, that's been a struggle, and then I'll say one of my final struggles have been um, sleep. Sleep has been one of my toughest struggles to overcome so far. It's hampered me in the past because I don't really sleep the same way everyone else do. Um, I'm used to running off of 3 hours or an hour of sleep, or sometimes not even sleeping at all. So making sure I get enough sleep has been a struggle, which I'm still dealing with now, even at week 4, because there are some days where I may only sleep 30 minutes and try to go to the gym in the morning, which I've learned hampers my workout quite significantly as compared to when I do get some good quality sleep. So what I've basically done, one, to help with the sleep is I think they call them nighttime mocktails or nighttime cocktails, a little tart cherry juice, some magnesium, um, and I mix a little bit of kombucha in there to kind of give it like a little fizzy pop taste, since I don't drink any soda. So that kind of works. And then sometimes I've even tried, uh, forget about it. We're not even going to go in there. I don't think I can talk about that on YouTube. But um, I am getting better with my sleep regimen, though. Um, I get more quality sleep days now than before. Just making sure I have good sleep hygiene, um, getting into bed when I'm supposed to getting to bed, and shutting things down pretty early has kind of helped me tremendously throughout this process. Um, the wins. What wins have I have? Or I won't even say wins. Well, what have I learned along the way so far? One thing that I learned is to not look at how others are progressing in the gym, or to not obsess over how I look or how other people look, or to compare my workout or to compare how I look to other people, or even my progress for that matter. Um, I've learned that my journey is my journey, and we're going to get there one way or another, one lift at a time. Um, I've also learned that the support of going into filming fitness content and filming myself in fitness, a lot of people don't care for it, apparently. Um, so that's been a thing I've been dealing with now, is trying to maintain the support from friends and family. But what I've learned is that your friends and family won't support you the same way that strangers will, just because strangers don't know you and there's no history between you and them. So they're more willing and capable of supporting you. I'll say that. Um, what else have I learned? Two, what I've also learned is that form is the key. Making sure you keep your form and not ego lifting. My first couple of I won't even say my first couple of weeks. I'll say my first week I was more so trying to ego lift, and having not been in the gym in the last 3 years, I thought I could go back to lifting 225 with no freaking problem, and I got under 135 and I had a rude awakening. So ego lifting, take your ego out of it. I took my ego out of it, and my workout days have gotten progressively better. Um, Even now at week 4, I'm a lot more confident. Um, and there is a little bit of ego starting to develop again because I'm getting stronger. So I feel like I'm kind of getting back to my old self, but I'm not quite there yet. Um, and then just taking time, take your time and understanding that your body's not going to change in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It takes a little while for your body to start to change, but at week 4, I am starting and beginning to see the results of of my workouts, not as far as muscle mass um, would go, but as far as losing fat and kind of getting that body fat down and trimming down around the waist. So at the start of uh, this journey, I was close to wearing a 36 in jeans. I actually just brought a pair of jeans or a pair of cargo pants about a week ago, and I got them at a 33 and a 32 just to see where I was at. And the 33s fit. I had a little room in them. The 32s were a bit tight, but still a little room. So I kind of think I'm on the right path with that. Um, so small wins. Uh, One is just I feel healthier. Um, I'm more clear of mind now that I'm back working out and I'm not as stressed all the time. I have a reputation of being quite the angry person, but since I've been back in the gym, uh, it's helped tremendously. I'm a lot more even kill now. And I also have to thank what I've been doing on my recovery days. So on my recovery days, I've been doing yoga and meditation Saturday mornings, and then Sundays I've been doing spin class. And let me just be clear about spin class. Okay, it's not for the weak. My instructor is 60 something years old, and she breaks me off every Sunday. So um, there's that. If you guys want to try yoga or spin class, I encourage you to try it. Yoga has helped tremendously with my flexibility, which I've always struggled with is mobility and flexibility. So yoga has helped that tremendously, and it also helps me relax after a week of working out and help my muscles kind of loosen up a little bit. It's almost like getting a massage for me, which I plan on integrating in weeks 5 through 8 and possibly 9 through 12 as well as adding some massage days in there to kind of break up the muscle fibers and help me recover a little bit better. Um, and then the spin class, of course, is a good cardio and a good way to help you burn those useless calories, especially on the weekend when you're not working out and you're eating. Um, you'll you'll thank me later if you try spin class. Let's just say that. Um, so, what does my workout look like? So, on Monday, I do upper body. I start out normally with the bench press, um, four, 4 sets at 6 to 8. Right now, I've been adding about 10 pounds each week to my bench press. So, I'm seeing a steady upward trend in what my lifting weight is. Um, I've been able to meet my rep ranges every week so far, which means I'm good to start adding weight into my next phase, which is what we'll talk about a little later. Then I kick off with some dumbbell incline press, and which I've also grown there as well too. Um, Weeks 1 and 2, I kind of kept the weight the same, and then 3 and 4, I kind of jumped up in weight a little bit. I jumped up about 15 pounds on the incline dumbbell press, which feels really good. I'm just barely hitting my rep ranges each set, so that's also a good thing. And I keep my um, sets to about 3 to 4 on those as well. Then I go into a chest supported row, which I keep that at about 3 to 4 sets as well, with the rep range about 6 to 8. Um, I've seen not as much of a weight increase there as far as my working weight from week to week, but I can definitely tell the difference because I started off with like 20 pounds or 25 pounds, and then now I'm at 45 with 210s, and I'm meeting my rep range on those just barely. So I think I'm pretty good there. And then I go into pull ups unweighted. I do 5 sets of those, but I only do 5 reps. Can't really do more than that right now, but I have seen progress there as well because when I first started in week one, I was barely able to do one pull up. Now I'm doing 3 sets of 5, um, or sometimes 3 sets of 4. However, my body feels after those supported rows. I kind of thought about kind of switching those exercises around and doing the pull ups first, and then going into the chest supported rows, but we'll figure that out. Maybe I'll change that for week 5 through 8. Um, then I have lateral raises. Then I have lateral raises in there. Um, 3 sets at a 10 to 12 rep range. Right now I'm at 12.5, mostly because my shoulders are taxed by the time I get to the lateral raises. Um, the bench press and the incline dumbbell press kind of eats the shoulder muscles up a little bit. So I'm at 12 and a half pounds on that, but I'm looking to go up. I'm in no rush to go up because I have had quite a few shoulder injuries in the past. I have a lot of scar tissue in my shoulders, so tend to be very careful in how I handle my shoulder exercises. Um, then from there, I'm normally doing dips um, or bicep curls. I kind of alternate really, or I superset them to get them done together at 3 sets to 10 to 12. I've seen my weight go up in triceps um, push downs, but I haven't seen too much growth in the cable bicep curls. Um, Hopefully that changes as I progress through the weeks, but more to be determined, I guess. Um, and then on Mondays, I close out my workout with 2 sets of push ups, as many reps as possible. I normally don't get too many in there. I normally burn out at about 20 to 25. Um, and that's kind of been consistent from weeks 1 to 4. But hopefully that'll get better. Hopefully I'll be able to do more. I kind of look at it as maybe I am getting in a good workout, so that last little push for push-ups um, kind of burns me out. Um, and then, which is on Mondays, I do rowing 6 by 250 meters with 60-second rest. Um, it's kind of a burner, and just to make sure I get some cardio, I keep that optional because some days I'm on a time constraint because I'm at the gym at 3 a.m. Now, so I don't have too much time to stay in there as long as I would like some days because I have to get my kids to school. So some days that's more optional, or then some days in the afternoon I may hit the treadmill and walk for maybe 2 or 3 miles. Um, and then Tuesdays is normally my leg days. That's more quad focused. So we always start with back squats with 4 sets at a 6 to 8 rep range. Sometimes I do 6 to 10, sometimes depending on how I feel, but I kind of try to keep it in that 6 to 8 rep range. Um, that's been um, a hard point for me is squats. I've never been truly good at squats. I've always had little skinny thighs, and with the pins and rods in my leg, especially at my pivot point of my knee, um, I don't feel as comfortable or confident with that much weight on sometimes. So sometimes I go a lot lighter than I probably should. But over the last, I'll say for weeks 3 and 4, I kind of upped the weight. I'm about 30 to, I'll say I'm at about 50 more pounds than what I initially started with on squats. So that is a good thing. I'm feeling confident that that will get better with time as I get more comfortable squatting. Um, we talked about struggles earlier, and I probably should have mentioned this, but one of the struggles I have had with squats is getting the correct depth on my squats, which mainly comes because um, just the comfortability. I get a little nervous once I hit a certain point that I may not be able to come back up, and I don't want to break another screw or pin in my ankle. So I kind of don't get as much depth as I should or I would like to get sometimes. But hopefully, again, that will change. And then I go into Bulgarian split squats. Which is also has been a struggle for me. One, because I don't have typical strong legs, and then I have a little bit of an imbalance between my left leg and my right leg. So my right leg gets a little wobbly on the Bulgarian split squats sometimes, and that's been an adjustment, but I am getting better. I am getting the correct depth on those. So hopefully, as time progresses, those will get better for me. Um, and then I go into a leg press, 3 sets. I do 12 to 15 on these just because your legs need a little more volume than your chest does. So I've been doing that. There's no complaints or struggles there. That's been pretty good for me so far. Um, the weight progression has been pretty good so far, and I hope it continues. Um, but again, we'll see how week 5 through 8 comes about. Um, but yeah, um, Wednesday. Well, sorry. Um, After leg press, it's normally leg extensions to close it out. 3 by 12 to 15 again. And then I'll do walking lunges, weighted walking lunges, about 20 each leg. And that's normally where I see, or not when I see, but normally when I can tell whether or not I've I've been pushing myself during my other exercises in the workout. Because if the walking lunges aren't hard, then I kind of know I shortchanged myself and left some in the tank on some of my other movements. Um, and then after the walking lunges, I normally close out with some core exercises. Um, it's been varying week to week. I don't keep that too set at all. I go from anywhere from hanging leg raises to Russian twists to V ups to crunches to oblique crunches. So it just varies from week to week. Even planks, I've thrown regular planks in there, side planks in there. I'm not really too big on working my core. I do it because I know it's a necessity, especially on some of my bigger lifts like the squat and the deadlift require a lot of core engagement. So that's the reason why I do core. And then Wednesday, we go back into upper body. This time it's more back focused. Um, I start this workout with unweighted pull ups again. I don't do chin ups, I actually do the wide grip pull ups. Um, they're my favorite. I don't count chin ups as pull ups really, even though they are. I just don't count it. Um, and then I transition into barbell rows, which are my biggest compound lift of that day, really. I keep that at 4 to 5, moderate weight. Um, I've been doing pretty good with that. I've struggled a little bit with mastering the form, but I've progressively been getting better thanks to some of the other YouTubers out there and TikTok videos, and sometimes even on Instagram. I've been watching some fitness influencers and watching how they do their barbell rows. So my form has gotten better. The lift has gotten better. Um, So that is a plus. And then I normally go into lat pull downs, wide grip lat pull downs. That's normally dependent on whether or not the wide grip attachment is available or not in the gym. Seems like everyone in the gym uses that attachment, so sometimes it's not available. So I do the close grip lat pull downs from time to time. I keep that sometimes. I put 3 on my schedule, but most of the time I do 4. Um, Probably because lat pull downs are one of my favorite exercises in the gym, weirdly enough. But um, then from there, we go to some chest supported rows, and we get in. Those are about 3 to 4 sets, sometimes, depending on how I feel as well. And I keep those within the 6 to 8 rep range. Um, and then I do some incline chest press in between, just to keep my chest volume kind of high. They say if you want to get better at presses, to press more. So I do throw in a chest press in there, incline chest press, and then some incline dumbbell presses in there as well. And then to close out my workout, I normally close out again with pull ups, but this time they're normally weighted. And then Wednesday, my cardio kind of depends. So I may get on the treadmill for 30 minutes to an hour, and I may go from walking or jogging or just strictly walking or strictly jogging. It just depends on how burnt out I am and how much time I have. Again, my cardio sometimes depends on my time constraints, um, as I gotta get home and get my kids ready to get to school. Um, and then Thursday is another leg day. This time it's more hamstring focused. And this day is always my favorite day because it has my favorite freaking lift. I always walk in and go straight to the deadlift rack. I don't care if I have to wait 20 minutes for a spot in a rack to open up. I am going to start my Thursdays with a deadlift every Thursday. I don't care. That is my favorite exercise. That is my favorite lift. And that is where I've seen the most progress throughout the weeks. When I first started deadlifting 135 was painful, to say the least. And now I am back up to lifting 305 with good form. So go me, yeah. Um, then after deadlifts, I go into RDLs, um, which is new for me. I've never done RDLs and I've never done stiff leg deadlifts. So I had to learn the form. It's not a hard form to get. I just clench my butt cheeks together and point my ass to the sky and keep a neutral spine. And it's I've been doing pretty good. The progression there has been pretty good. I didn't think I was doing it right initially, just because they said that you should feel it pull in the hamstrings, and initially I wasn't feeling too much of that pull in the hamstrings. But now, as I've gone up in weight, I can start to feel the pull now, and I can actually feel my hamstrings engaging in the lift. So um, that's been awesome. And then I go into the hip thrust, which I've never done before ever. Obviously, that's glute focused, but it does engage the hamstrings there. Um, and I had been doing that. I don't use as much weight, just because I don't think my glutes are that strong, but I am making good progress there, which I'm proud of. So hopefully I can get to where I've seen some people doing 180 pounds or 200 and something pounds on hip thrust. Hopefully I can get there. Um, I'm in no rush though, trust me. Uh, and then after hip thrust, I go into weighted step ups. So Before, I would think I was doing the 36-inch step ups, which was brutal. And then we come back to the same issue I experienced during the Bulgarian split squats is just the balancing of that singular right leg. And I am getting more comfortable and the strength is coming back, or I won't say coming back. I think my legs are starting to balance themselves out now. So I'm not over relying or putting too much reliance on that left leg. And that right leg is becoming a little more stable during the step ups and Bulgarian split squats. Um, I do 3 sets of those, and then I transition to the hamstring curls. I don't like lying hamstring curls, but I will use it if the seated hamstring curl is available. What I found is that I don't get the full range of motion on the lying hamstring curls. So I do like the seated hamstring curl more because I do get the full range of motion. Um, during during that exercise. So if you do have that in your gym, I would recommend you use that over the lying hamstring curls. Um, and then after that, I normally wrap up. Hamstring day is normally one of my lighter days or faster days, and then I normally cool down with a walk, stretch, and then I may do some core, but not too much. If any, I think I've only done core twice within the last 4 weeks on a Thursday. Um, and then Friday, of course, is what I like to call a upper body day, chest and back hybrid, where I do incline press. Then I go into the weighted pull ups, and then I go into flat dumbbell incline or flat dumbbell press, and then I go into lat pull downs again, wide grip, and then after that, I will typically do the lateral raises, um, and then close out with dips, weighted dips, and some cable bicep curls, and then I'll get some cardio in. I don't do any rowing on Fridays. I normally keep it to running or doing a jog to sprint hit kind of cardio, where I'll run at full speed for 60 seconds and then rest for 30 seconds. Or maybe I have that reverse. Yeah, I'll run at 100% for 30 seconds and then I'll jog for 60 seconds. Um, I've been doing that, and I typically do about 12 rounds of that on the treadmill. Um, but I think I'm gonna kind of scale it back a little bit because by the time I'm leaving the gym, I'm normally completely exhausted for the rest of the day. Like I have nothing in the tank on a Friday, and that's normally my longest day of the week. Um, and then, like I said, Saturdays I go to yoga, hot yoga, first thing in the morning. I do that and then go to meditation. And then on Sundays, I go to spin class first thing in the morning. Or not first thing in the morning. It normally starts at 9 o'clock. So I get in there and I do do some spin class. And shout out to my instructor. She's pretty freaking hardcore. She burns me out. I just try to stay active, and I think they call it an active rest on your off days, just to keep my body active, keep burning those calories. Um, and then also the yoga helps, with flexibility in your muscles and stuff like that. So that works out for me. And then, you know, Sunday, the spin class is like cardio slash fat burner. Um, but overall, it's been amazing so far, weeks 1 through 4. I've had some struggles along the way. I've learned from those struggles, and I've become better over those 4 weeks. But my diet has been pretty spot on. I haven't. Well, let's say okay. Let's start here. So I've been I've been having a pre-gym snack, which is normally a rice cake, some peanut butter, organic peanut butter, by the way. Um, None of that concentrated stuff. And then a couple banana slices on top, and I eat that about 30 minutes before I leave for the gym. And I'll probably drink a protein shake on the way. And then that's about 3 a.m. when that happens, 3:30 when that happens. Um, and then I had my first breakfast probably about 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock. Normally, when I'm leaving the house to get the kids to school, is when I get a chance to eat that breakfast. It's mostly eggs, turkey sausage, or turkey bacon, and then overnight oats, about a cup and a half of overnight oats with some flax seeds, some hemp seeds, and some chia seeds. I think they call it the super trio or whatever. Um, and that's what I have in the morning. I'm normally eating my first lunch, depending on my day, probably somewhere between 11:30 and 1 o'clock, where I kind of pack in the carbs and proteins a lot there. Normally brown rice, chicken, salmon, heavy on the vegetables always. Always depends on what my lady cooks. Depends on what I what I'm having that day, but I kind of keep it basic. It kind of never change. Or um, I do tuna salad with some everything bagel chips, whole wheat bagel chips, of course. And then dinners normally anywhere between 5 p.m. and 6:30. And I may snack throughout the day, mostly strawberries and blueberries to kind of curb my sugar cravings. And that's helped a lot because I've always been a big snacker, a big chips person, a big cakes and muffins and stuff like that. I'm not really a candy person per se, but I've always snacked that way. And then about 8:30, once I'm winding down for the night, 8 o'clock, 8:30, I'll have another protein shake and wrap it up and get in bed. But yeah, man. Um, I want to thank you guys if you even watched this long. If you even watched this long, thank you. Please again like and subscribe. Um, Please also follow me on my social media. It's the same thing, legendary underscore French on TikTok or legendary underscore Blanco on Instagram, of course. And I appreciate it. I know this first video is a little bit rough. Like I said, I'm not used to filming myself and being in front of a camera. So this is new to me. But as you guys stick with me over the next couple weeks, I will get better. Um, and looking forward to weeks 5 through 8, my list will get progressively heavier. I'm going to be closer to that 80 to 85% of my 1 rep max. Um, Most of my compound list will be 5 by 5, so less reps, an added set, but of course more weight. My accessory list will be more weight, a little less reps. So instead of the 10 to 12, we'll probably be looking more to the 6 to 8 range on that. Um, from my understanding and some of the research I've done, this is going to be more of a strength and power building phase. So I'm hoping this leads to a big jump and I get a little closer to where I was at before the car accident, of course. Um, and then I'll probably also up the cardio a little bit just because I've seen progress in my body fat now. Um, I'll put those numbers somewhere in the video, of course. Um, I have to watch a YouTube to learn how to do that, but that'll be up there. And then also, um, yeah, I think that's about it for weeks 5 through 8. Um, if you guys have any questions, comments, anything, even things that I can do better in the video, please comment. It would be greatly appreciated. I want to give you guys some good content that you guys can enjoy. But until next time, I bid you adieu. Arrivederci, I guess. Hasta la vista or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how to sign off these things. But thank you guys.